Hi guys, this is Philip and I'm here to show you the EFX render elements ZDepth tools. So we have ZDepth cut filter, supply it with ZDepth channel, and here's what we have. Front full cut threshold, front no cut threshold, back full cut threshold, and back no cut threshold. So front, it's defaults to 1, so if we dial it down you'll see things disappearing in the front. We have a no cut threshold as well. If it goes below the full cut threshold you can see a soft selection here. The same way the back full cut threshold is set to 0. If you increase it you'll start seeing things disappear from the back, just like that. Okay, and a no cut threshold is again a soft selection for this. An offset just keeps the selection as it is but offsets it to the back or to the front, so you can create a ZDepth wipe through the scene like this. The mode, I'm sorry, I will rename this. It should be invert, so of course you can invert the effect, so you can cut out the objects. So let's leave it like this. We want to select these guys, so we don't want to lose anything in the front. We just want to cut out the back really. Okay, like this. And let's do a soft selection here. Okay, because for some reason everything in the front gets really blown out. Right, why not? What else can we have? Let's say we've rendered separately a layer of a walking bug, right? Unfortunately, we forgot about matte shadow materials, mask, or anything that would allow us to composite this bug into the scene. But since we're in the habit of always rendering the technical passes, we have a ZDepth pass on it. So let's use an EFX ZDepth compose filter. Input 2 is for the current layer's ZDepth, so this ZDepth. Input 3 is for the ZDepth of the layer you're trying to mix with, so background ZDepth. And now you can see these layers mix properly. Let me just remove some of these so that we can view it a little bit faster. As you can see, the bug walks behind. I just removed the edge blurring filter, so I hope this will be a little faster. As you can see, we had for the background we have just one layer, one rendering. It was all in one go, and we were able to composite a second layer of the bug inside this background layer between the objects, thanks to just the ZDepth channels. Here also you have basically an offset value where you can pull the layer in front or a little bit more to the back. It all depends on what you want to do. One thing I found, and you should remember that for the bug here, because it's being rendered on nothing, on transparent background originally, you're better off with rendering a ZDepth pass that is not anti-aliased. This one's anti-aliased, and this one's not. It's uglier, but the reason for this is that this anti-aliasing is actually also depth information for the computer. It's no longer this nice gray, it's gray mixed with black, so basically it seems like these edges are further than the rest of the object. So if you replace the not anti-aliased layer with anti-aliased, you'll see a very ugly thing. You can see that these edges were actually considered to be way in the back, so they disappeared behind the wall. If you move the entire thing forward, you can see we're getting back these edges back. Unfortunately, there's no way around it. Anti-aliased data again in these technical passes is false data, and please remember to in these situations render a not anti-aliased pass. That's one thing, and also something that's, I'm hoping, really logical. For this to work properly, you should render the ZDepth passes for the background and for the bug with the same settings. So the front plane and the back plane should be at the same depths, so that those two depth passes make sense together. They describe the same space. Okay, one last filter we have. It's the EFX render elements ZDepth shadow. If you have a 2D layer and in the background you have a 3D rendered environment, and you would want to throw a shadow from this 2D layer onto the background to make it match, well, the background basically to be displaced, here's a simple trick. Let's say we have this background rendered in 3D, we have this front layer, let's duplicate it. So now we have only this layer. Let's color it so it looks kind of like a shadow, probably more with desaturation. Okay, and now remember we still have a ZDepth pass for this CG background. Let's apply the ZDepth shadow. Select the ZDepth pass of the background, and now what you can do is displace the layer based on the ZDepth data. Horizontally, vertically, you can reduce the opacity. You can set the fall off for the opacity, is it larger or smaller, and also you can even blur the shadow the further it goes. And like in other plugins, you have the blurring curve to set up as well. And you also have a way of moving the shadow altogether in one way or the other. So let's reset it, enable the front layer. Now as you can see, we're throwing the shadow onto the background basically. Of course, what we can display here is the final compositing of shadow, original shadow, so this layer, and the ZDepth shadow, so the ZDepth layer, so this. We of course want the final one, and as you can see, everything plays nicely.